minim say what Oobake ene Akwaaba so hun sem kakra
okay
enyina he
Oobake
yes.
Obviously, that's the first time I actually heard the word. But when I heard it, me and Criney, so when I heard it, I was like, oh, I understand. Because it makes sense in our languages. But Oobake and Akwaaba, right? Me no nanka. What I suggest is that once we guns decide say okay, airports know where you're from, so we are putting it as Oobake so that it will promote the country language, like the local and the people their language in here. Also, no, I think say it's an opportunity for the country. Say they should force the president and the ministers of state to also build an international airport in Kumasi. So we put Akwaaba on it. Then the Northerners were also forced to build international. That will actually spread the country in a very. I think it's a progressive approach where we can push something out of it. But I see, come say, Oobake. There are so many important things we have to deal with.
And yeah, buying natural, empty and for natural.
Oh, okay.
Omo my year, uko arrive at one. Who say, udu one. Omo my design BBA. Until omo my truck Akwaaba. Empty and yeah, buying natural.
Me I thought it was like government. So almost minister, regional minister, they got Troy. But they are not cost sign. So to me, if like you are in Ghana and then we have to promote the Ghana language, they should obviously promote it because it's their land. It's our land. And because when they told me, my farmer Adrian come, I saw a TikTok video and I'm saying, yeah, check out what was the problem?
Because say mom said a man for Beijing can from Semana.
Oh, not really.
Susumuno, Emre Bedra, and Kofu Beji, Accra,
Dabi. And one thing is that I think say Oobake and then Akwaaba, maybe they can share it hand in hand. It can explain, yes. And then they can mix it together. Or better still, in a positive way, everybody should push so that Ghana will be forced to develop. Okay. Because honestly, I don't know. When I heard that, that's the first thought that came in my mind because I feel that Ghana is only Accra. Yeah. Honestly, I've gone through the whole 16 regions, every corner, every rough road, every good road, and if all free Accra and corners be. Who can say Ghana to say Accra? It's a different story. Accra pe na ohun bia. Ghana. You go to a place now about 3 hours, car crown for a private car. Everybody will just be looking. Yeah. Gonna be shocked that where is this coming from? Will be there. Exactly. They have to actually extend the development and not just focus on the center of Accra. But I
hear a lot of men of God say, borders. These days I'm hearing that a lot. Right. Security more money borders now. Normal people, Boba or my anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen anything of that sort?
Not at all. Yes, not at all. But then mainly as a country, you have to secure your borders. But not in Ghana mainly with what I saw. Me won't say another coup was taking place, but after the coup, it generated something like a terrorist regime that started pushing towards certain African borders, closer to us, but not within our territory. And whilst you see, we're down for a boni moko change,
down for a body. Now the issue
exactly. But now for which means once they are burying one hatchback, the other one is also watching. Yes. So who say now you secure.
The Africa war.
Yeah, Africa. Normally like a coup. And to coup this year, it would generate a divided country where terrorism will thrive. Yes.
They will never happen.
Yes. If you change, I'll tell you.
Now, so by election be able to be a this year, we know. Now, not for the name. Tamale,
it's we need the call. They are clearing the pathway.
The horse so
we need the call. So, I mean, obviously, it's their time. So, they would continue. But then, when importantly, let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. I know, so that you get this thing. Okay. One said, there is a situation going on with the MPP political party. Yes. This thing, once I tell you, it will be very, very strange. Wow. Yes. I saw, amazingly, that Baumia was running for flag bearership. and Kennedy Japan was his vice this the running mate.
Wow.
Very strange.
You've seen that?
Yes. And there's already discussion going on in the realms. But you know, because I'm ahead of time, I'll go and take from the future and come and see it in the present. So that now that the plans have started going on, once I've said it, to be a young person say, say a plan. No? We have said it out in public already. So how do we handle it? Yeah, because they'll come with double numbers to get a strong figure.
But
the election is 44%. For 2028 election.
No matter who they bring.
Yes, it's 44. And it is there. Unless you temper with time, but that one is a long gap. No solution. So to catch up with it, you will not finish it by the close.
So we shouldn't be surprised to see say Baumiane Kennedy Akambo Mua or Moba.
Yes, don't be surprised. Or they'll start talking about it. They'll start talking about it later on.
To what your money can grow?
By the grace of God.
Still now,
44, but it didn't change the time. Yeah. It couldn't change the time. So once the time is maintained, it's the same number at the end of the day. So it's like, okay, there was like double numbers because it will shock you. Say, when in the primaries,
yes,
they will pull very strong numbers during the primaries, and after pulling that kind of numbers, it will encourage them to say, you know what? Imagine if our primaries was this much numbers.
Yes.
If we join together, can you imagine what we can do in 2028?
Na yamfa yankomo and share so. Papa, you want Akwaaba biem.
Na
I want to say. Papa, me no one finish business. Say yankomo na.
I don't know.
It's not yet. Also, my who dear co.
Sorry, baby.
White fatal come up.
Oh, yeah, Daniel Miasi.
Yeah, Pama.
We are more Pama. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Till I look around and very finished. Yes, but we will tell I'll be a out of palm in Tarrant, mommy. Or my friend, Dion clothing. Dion clothing. Oh, yeah, me member in church. Dion clothing.
Oh, yeah, church member.
Yes. Very, very good. Very good. Most of me African where I'm sharing preaching. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Michelle. What's the
Dion clothing. Yes, Dion clothing.
But you will be a Michelle. Say, oh, clothing for my. And that topic, you know, I'm on for interest.
Absolutely.
Me want for baby, almost see they won't miss it.
No great. Surely.
And then that one they said the end the piano.
All right. Me, your prophet Telvin. My name is Prophet Telvin, founder of Prophetic Life Embassy in Oyibi Prayer Camp Junction, Accra. And by the grace of God, I'm a prophet by calling, executing God's main calls, and then at the end of the day, doing what God has sent us to do, and pleasing God, not man, by the grace of God. Sure.
Amen. Amen. And then yes, they say. Enipa ya na masasi so aye kwa ye bayi ye nyina ni ye nipa ana ebi mo kan ye ho a omunye nipa but ye ho mu se nipa but in the realms of life no omunye nipa bibisa ho.
Yes, bibisa ho.
Okay. And for you remo
young cousin. And the moment breaking it down so that you can be able to get the main picture.
Okay.
And then by the grace of God, in so many ways by the grace of God. And at the end of the day, you know, we have a lot of things that we are learning across the world. We've come to a world where, as I say, I am breaking certain things down for people's understanding. And demons and evil spirits and spirits. But the main question is, where did they come from? About the same, and all of a sudden, you will be a friend of evil spirit. Where did they come from? Yes. So, in the foundation of the time, before we were even created, there were angels of God that existed before us. And through certain conditions, the angels of God fell. And now I can show you why they fell. But then to make it quickly, just summarizing it, they fell. And when most of them fell, they came and dwelt in the midst of men. at the end of the day. Because when they fell, they went into nothingness. And then when the earth was created, they came and dwelt in the midst of men. And then in the book of Genesis chapter 6, the word says something very clearly. It said that the sons of God came to make wives of the daughters of men. And then they gave birth to Nephilims, which were the giants of old. Which means, any nipa ebenya relationship. And then they gave birth. Oh, very strange. How can a human being and a spirit give birth? And in that condition, how did the spirits realize that they can do something like that? They made that decision because someone realized here, they can multiply by themselves. They can be able to bear fruit and then multiply. And the only way an entity can multiply on the face of the earth when it has to do with sentient and spiritual souls and stuff is by going through the womb of a woman. And in that condition, they began to make wives of the daughters of men. And then they began to give birth to Nephilims. Whilst they were giving birth to Nephilims, when they began to give birth to the Nephilims, they were bound and in chains. And then the Nephilims began to take over the face of the world. And so in categories, there are 4 categories of demons. In Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12. In the Hebrew, in the Greek, Okano, Akas, Exousias, Pneumatica, Ponerius, and Cosmocrotobas. Which means principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Open in 4 categories now. The Akas, which is principalities, they are witches, and they are Beyuhum. Exousia, which is powers, and they are conform. Then you have Cosmocrotobas, that is rulers of darkness, and Nephilims. Then you have Pneumatica Ponerius, spiritual wickedness in high places. The main fallen angels, no, and the fallen angels never and then they kept producing because they wanted to multiply demon kind. And a demon baku etimi take seed in a woman, they can give birth to 1 million different demons.
A physical, not spiritual, something.
Physical thing that happened in the Bible, in Genesis chapter 6. They gave birth to Nephilims, yes, giants of old. And nobody who Zeus, Munisa, all those kind of demons no more existing. And that's how demons began to multiply. And so multiply ABC, and then the flood of Noah came. It was because the human beings that were existing in that time were lesser in number than the demons that were existing. And so Nyankopon said, no, it was time for mankind, the bloodline of mankind, to be saved, because most bloodlines were corrupted by demons. So nipa woho okita nipa dua, but then demon etinimu. So a half man, half demon. So all their body was scrapped off the system by the flood. Flood ni cleanse your movie, you know. No be echo share people mu. And that's how it is. And later, Nyankopon cleanse it, and I go from Mosaba.
Oh, how?
Namana, you who Diabi, Nazi Diawe, Umbewu, Naya Diapaye, Naya conjure spirits, now I waba. Now be the insure where in Koshabo Fem, no the dry gin gusu, now I conjure na spirits naba. So we ourselves began to create portals and began to open them up. And just as I say, you gave the portals, no, and then they began to function in full capacity. Now, the most common one is what I want to talk about, which is the witchcraft spirit. And is the least of the category. It is a parasiting spirit. As a parasite, in a sense, what would fix our more crime? Or then he lives with the crime.
Yes,
exactly. That's how witchcraft is. So the witchcraft corrupts the person's soul. Now, and any panic spirits now are bonded together. So the person then becomes the witch. So you can see them as though they are human beings, but then they are not.
Wow.
Because they are 2 different entities all together. And if you make a mistake, say, oh no, you're not my human being, or better me up blinking the name say now or the way we are.
Physically, you home so me nipa.
Physically,
but
yes.
In reality, no, omoya
home. And there are so many people like that we have seen. Some years back, in Accra, I was doing fasting. And in Accra, and when I was walking, no be a shedra. That's your woman beat you. So when I was walking away from him about, let's say, 10 to 15 feet away from her. And to me, I'm 10 to 15 feet away from her. And 10 to 15 feet, I'm talking about normally like down one bedroom, wall to wall, kind of distance. And to me, now more I make on me, woman, hey, I didn't. Maybe I say I don't know about share. Maybe about share need yes, me Baba can need egu. So I looked at the woman and said, how? Like it's not possible because by distance, baby, I want Ejimi kite biatin timi na me Baba can need egu. But the way she was shouting and then she was insulting me. And to me, Shana, that time when I am here be an enti, me who ya na me say, oh, sana line be that baby, I mean chemuno. And I'm with your moniama, and if you don't take care, now Nima, Uchemuna, Genia, my phone, or whom be also penawaji. And once I make you me do her, or then make it that attempt on who says it's not possible. And that's when physically they'll provoke you and they start fighting you for no reason, even if you baby are, but they'll be attack you because they notice who you are or what you have and what you can do. And
only that sometimes, Obu okra wonya ne hwe ba prekopa no washa se no wokon ebia wohia no wonya ne hwe otimuka se adena wo bomfutu agumani
exactly
wa ebia ni tisi wosoro also na mfom bato se odi mfutu agumani
odi mfutu agumani and it's a lot of things like that. Like one day many boys here near Nam Spring Test Road, so we're in a car and here driving a woman be so kita rubber. I'll be crossing your coin or crossing your name. Your crossing and make a chum or can say woman we on your nipa. Or your witch, or your very demonic way. Once in a while, is and you're driving, you bones or crazy accident. Like joke, when we drove, we got there, there was accident there. Make Catherine to know, hey, now shock you. Yes, because when we see them, we know we're on your nipa. When listen, or flesh and blood, no, but or a different thing altogether in the realm of the spirit. And to one training here, Obe cancel your nipa, Nanso, Obe use is here.
And the Omupa market and Omupa Krubuna, Omoni Nama.
Handle certain things in marketing structure. As a senior, Obi Bisa say, Adena, we money na more destroy your money. Since senior mosquito no. Mosquito survives on blood. So when you're mojana no more, so they survive on the blood. That's what they take in. Everything and what they survive on. The witchcraft seed, which is the parasite, it breeds on destroying people and stealing from people. And one thing that is really shocking in the witchcraft operation is that they are trade in the realm of the spirit. Omu trade in the realm of the spirit. Omu tuntoniama, trading yama for power and potential capacity. And it is like bragging rights. As Obi beye jumano diakotoka to show his friends say, or will be. No, I thought that kakrakabi to show his friends so will be the same way they have that spiritual bragging right. So we announce the way or your powerful. Send a comfort cry, we see our passing, we see our pass. So everybody wants to attain the highest height in the realms. And to the money nam, then they are working around and then destroying and stealing from people. And only my day the most scariest thing in all of those things through the affairs of the realm of the spirit is that before Betty me and my way DNA. Now we are like your womb is gone, like we're rendered dead. Physically the womb is there, but then spiritually power now a containing life. No, it's not physical. All of us understand one important reality of life because that's the spiritual thing that backs that which is real in the standard. So that kind of force that maintains life is already dead because we don't know where you force no spiritually from there. So once that force is not there, only problem with your womb. In your womb, your menstruation is flowing, everything is fine. Until that be worry about cancer person. At that time, maybe I would say 20 years ago, you would never know. And the time our power banana fed aqualanimba. Now they are question a DBSC 2 months, and now Nanabio TVB, and now DBSC 2 weeks ago. So normally we think about the imminent problems, not the past. But then demonic entities are very smart that they can steal from you even when you are at the tender age.
Shine away. Yes, and I say glory away. And also was
yes, ultimately trade the potential of your destiny. The human being is a body, soul, and spirit. And your soul is like a house that you know, everybody has a soul. Once they give birth to you, the first thing you're looking for is a shelter. Yes. Dying. Yes. We are replicating what we are in the realm of the spirit. In the realm of the spirit, your soul is not just you. Your soul is the house that your spirit dwells in. And till Dana Usundaya, it's your spirit that wakes up, and your soul contains your thoughts. What I say? That's why you can know that you have forgotten something, but you don't remember what you have forgotten. Because you are not your soul. Your soul is just an accumulative structure of information, and you process the information. So your soul is like a library where you can take something that happened 10 years ago, yes, and then remember. You can say take something that happened 2 years ago and then remember. And then the witchcraft authorities or demonic entities as a whole, they access your soul, and each soul has precious things within it, and then they can steal it from you. And for you to even notice, you will never notice it until you would need that thing. That's why they be
now they say how do we know the difference between the yenipa and the spirit? So that we are careful.
One important thing is that light can detect darkness. And darkness can detect darkness. That's one important thing. The Bible said that the spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons of God. Once unante with God, automatically you can be able to discern certain entities. They won't be strange. Once you get closer to them, you can be able to notice and yet automatically there are some people that you can come closer to. Once I'll be sure, you will just know, say, the atmosphere, the aura is not positive. There is something wrong with the atmosphere. And the problem is that we fall under the charade of physical upliftment. I said, and then imagine say you'll be at a car and Tonya before. So we have a narrative in our mind, say yes, you'll be your Okita Bonana before. Yes. Yes. So normally people will see an old woman if you are upon in youthful age, when you know the Nima then Ashe until Mushiana, then you think, oh, where do I before? Yes. But I can assure you that there is even a consular sitting now at the embassy about to give you a visa. I'll not see before. Yes, there can be a member of parliament or before. There can be a minister of state or before. There can even be a president or before. Yes.
The time kwa say obi anesia tutu kwa na eba ifo ana obi oti akurasi bi o shey bi ase na eba ifo.
Yes, and in the witchcraft there are even two categories. Okay. There is the overtaker and then the undertaker. The undertaker ye dia o shefem ono onko ono so ma onko. Okay. Which ono de ye nyina ye ntina ombre o pese onko we ni mo na wa twa abehwe o pese onko na wa twa abehwe hwe ono mento ono no na on person obi abeko enti say obekum nyina na komadiom they will do it. And then there is another category which is the overtaker. No ebusuano, they will trade everybody's glory for themselves or the whole community's glory for themselves. Wow. They take territory. There are two kinds. And to be to me who will be very powerful, very rich person, highly educated. Or to two coin in Nama Brotre Kwaba. Oh, now can say, oh, where they send your Tiano on there before. I say, oh, no, sorry, shed and Ginia mean D on one yes, do one I before. I can assure you a lot of people are witches. A lot. And witchcraft you too. Mami Remo Kakrama. In categories, there is a blind witch and there is an active witch. The blind witch is a dormant witch. And in every witch coven, they will need one open eye witch, which is an active witch. No one recruiting blind witches. What you say? And the open eye witches no more need a council of blind witches. They manipulate and operate with the blind witches to work and execute. And to say, lady be better community be now man of one in no be educated, intelligent to be by a fine. Ora wa no de dwaman huma robia mu. Ono ye say omo leader. Wow. No lead gang bi. No mu nyina ye dwoma koma pa mu de mema we ni na mani na mana. Obo se ba wi akire no. Obia ba nyinsen, obia life be se no no kwa gusu gina. The life inside that. Obe lead omo nyina astray. But they will never fall. They are the main witch. The rest are the blind witches. And then they will use them to cause enough damage. Wow. Then they move to the next group. Once an NTM collaborate, you know, I am a minimum papa them, they notice this. So they were always talking to us about friends, not down for men go with you, men go with you. Because some people are there, they are housing demonic entities, and then they'll create a recruitment that will cause mass destruction within that terrain. And so that's that category, no? The open eye. And then the dormant ones are used. And to be a dormant witch. Or bet me about sorry. Or bet me on pastor. Now I say pastor, no. Will be and say on for pastor name Concorda.
Yes.
That's not dream. I want the tribunal on no crown on Sunday on who say on number from him so before. Okay. But one pastor now and so funny here be one pastor now and so and now that's all said you see pastor now. One can sample share them so before but I don't deal with him. Exactly. And then there is always a leader that is open eye. I don't know control terrain. Terrain to move from bad direct play around people. And why did I do this? Let's just no show and manipulating him. Exactly.
I heard about a story I say before. I say Ghana here now. Obia de ne baba, no marry, Obia de ne baba. The mammy bako, ne my two, Baku of Buchina Baku Ghana. The Ghana and the or no Brabona saying son or no. Tam no so saw the babano. Or not in the by the Onomasano, almost Ompe, Buchino. And also, oh, on the baby, no, see that be. I want to know, say, a bay for no so no. And now, and I said, me passe, no. Omu papa no woman, and I the omenya of your mutim, and they also sought no more papa.
As the saying goes, thieves don't rob empty houses. And before the destroyer, they come for people that are progressive. They look for something that has value. At the end of my saying, that and your munko, or your quarry saying that and your manama, or monfanin. And I made the say there many, Mammy can't show I one secret. Many people won't say, if you feature aqua joints, a petition bar for do drop a before. Honor my tongue before pots, no one. The drunkard distant pots. That's how I ultimately show be. Oko now numunsa unya quarensenida, but you may just take a beer from some of those places and drink from that. They will try to control it, nobody can stop.
I must know and evil spirit and
honest most of them are witches, and some of them omoko say amount for ntoadi. Until once they come in, once you take one drink, yes, you get possessed. Because of quoi? Bukano ana juju nino. Or no one catcher will say, obe possessing nipana ama continue so beto. It will intuit like they will trigger their lust for that thing. As a nicotine for smokers. Ombe trigger. So that when you go near money, so it will trigger the person. And Tinipa Dani Corisani or Bua Tresse, Okraona, no Belmobo, but still they can't stop. Wow. By be free, by be free appetition, a bush of Baby Oma warning, still about the Bemanu. No, wow. They'll just die.
I said the life, and I say,
because you are under that spell. And there's a lot of people going, so monthly money, Omukobunsa, it's not them. They are falling under some alcohol joint spell.
Now, spirit, no, a woo, and once a woo, yes, no, a Buddha, a better necessary, never
permanent. They are all eternal, yes.
In the deeper spirit, in the spirit, in the
oh, yeah, but transfer to another person
by force, and a nippon accept it.
Once you give yourself the chance, it will look for empty spaces. Oh, you're weaker, it will possess you.
Na enuane a ya toto di no emprempi yetimi ma won se ma me we bia ne de menkoto ni but omo nka de crunchrew ya ma won ma me we de na de mento ma me we ade o de ma wa mfa nye wo ho what does it mean enuane ni bi wo ha bibi wo ma na
yes. On say it depends on what they're going to get. Obi will work on GBB say and promoting the business. Obi wants to oye hunter and kasa. You know, witches have a plan and structure for hunting. Yes. Obi will all hunting for treasures, and the treasures are in people. That bet me then akotong. What I say, and the treasures now when you no they call any marketing in the realm of the spirit to be able to trade for pearls and treasures so that they can be able to attain powers, because there are certain things if you go to certain places spiritually. Ever catch say koyi obatri min fabra Baby son say me ba no be wu ana onwuda ba oba no ni destiny. If your child is supposed to be a president or a millionaire, ye completely. Yes. Now no be ba me share na me say they have taken something from them some years back. Ye de ninsa keke na sha de mu na ye marking ninsa no. So I showed him the mark on his hand.
Physically?
Yes, physically. And just showing his hand on the mark. No one. I told him don't check here. No one said the mark is not. And I described the mark before I told him to pull out his hand to show me. And I said it was because of something that was done. So I created a whole lot there on the mysteries, like the life. So I keep it out of it. But that's that kind of problem. And now once you don't take care. Small petty things are there that they are using to treat. And to be under that jurisdiction or the harvesting yama, then you dream again. You have been invited into a council you have no idea about. To be slave. Spiritually, they are under chains. Or slaves to inquire to other demonic entities. Yeah. For before and everything. Yes, school club not teach any child and as a spiritual lawyer, Akwaaba ni students no more class. Wow. Yes. I saw for class you're preaching and so Akwaaba ni choir ni. Yes. Because once they bring you into that level where you start sleeping with all those people and start falling for all those things, you are trapped, you are their servant. Until you know they are okay in answer.
Until not just a member be brave here. Yeah, the man in your one.
Absolutely.
And the use of the
inside journey, money, so many other things. Yes.
Wow. That's a cardinal Benya Crank or Paddy and some of the bedampo. That's a bomb piana. Then I saw here.
As on
away from this.
As on wire and young coupon build the covenant. Yes. No, before not go iron the same outcome.
Because maybe I be for now one. So for Crabby, I make and so for no crowd, we should have the answer. One in
and it's very true. Because I've seen orchestrations that are beyond imagination. I make a chairman for say before you take any step, allow God to lead you. Because Bonsambe Timia strategize your life to understand. Say, you better be my problem ahead of time. Yeri Abe worry, Kuna Abe worry. They could all be by demonic orchestration, and you fall right into it without knowing. And I'll bet think, oh, this send you by enemy shiny part of it's all by design. Every step of the way throughout.
So, in order not to fall in their, traps,
right?
How careful should we be?
You have to really carry God. You can't just walk around the face of the earth. Me catch a more for say, until you are normal, like you will just die. Me sorry, one day I was going somewhere around that time, no more doom light during the doom source seasons. So I was walking. Me nam me bana me want dear white to be said but I live in the realm of the spirit kind of thing. But me it was not a big deal for me, so I kept walking. And as I betray mubium as a sincere some white glowing thing as a nipple, but chimu, and I was like, okay, we are no problem behind me, and I kept walking. When him say me go straight, I could have now person me fast shortcut, but me see me fast shortcut now. I say Ghana, for be window, it's not a modular, and I kept going straight. And me go straight and me branch left. When I say me branch left, me nanti best 4 steps or so. Container bakusia, me won say lady beach na mfimfini black. Me tinyi na agina the chisi. Ohu mi ana oye ni senti ni say I red. In darkness there was light out. In darkness. Ogina straight in no see. So yes ape. And I me say adie bi that time I was on a call. Enti adie bi hiti me nsano. And the farm, what to say, as I had not seen time cover from head to toe. So I could literally feel the cobwebs say cover me. Air cover me, no, the thing went through the core like a frequency wave, and it hit the person at home. And then the politician, Jesus, I will feel. Once I was on the call, and I catch anybody say, what happened? I see that shocking, and me say no hold. And to ask them, I did not chimney, I teach me. And the word I made me 9 right now is see for me reverse here the back from my body. And the word the thing left my body again. What them say physically, this is not dream, this is not illusion. Me one thing I'm very skeptical. I like to be like, okay, what's happening? Because me I was say, oh, the BBC now I'm not a fanatic. When that thing went straight to the person, bam, say no, the thing hit her. Back was on 1921. I'm saying, okay, movies done, electric shock, and the effect, but in reality there is an exchange. And to call back, and original back. Or done no pa, no 2 minutes. Or done it to say crammy. A human being was born like a dog. I always use it to advise them here. And can me complete. And come back to me and opa. Because hey, boys, they were born some and I cross for I go they will find there will be so many reasons, but the actual reason that killed me, no one could figure it out.
Now, me pacho sa spirit no, and I don't want no more pretty, and at daytime you know almost how pretty.
I'm more pretty throughout all days, during the day and night. The Bible said, "You shall not fear the terror at night, nor the arrows that fly by day, nor pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor plagues that destroy at noonday." Which means if you are getting and midnight or mubujuma, and not just
now, you say abusuani bi wo ha, e na wo ho de. Exactly. A man no ko baby no ma ko pa wo na o ma bewo e be wie no na adane family problem torment abusuani nyina.
Exactly.
Bibi say so ho.
Yes. E wo ho. You see, oko demons no say na make no. They have their own part to omuti omu baby. Ena wo na obekọ aka say, oh, meti odom me pe mwafri ho, and then they will invoke the demon. Make sure one important thing. There is no voodoo priest. There is no juju man. A conphobia ni ho, bull kabia ni ho. Our control over any of the demons they are conjuring. Demons are tricky and smart. They are liars and thieves. They are tricksters. Omuni control bianti. I will tell you one important thing. Abusum omum pe nentri disguise. Omum pe ojain. Omum pa ponchi. They don't need appetition one thought. Omum fan yeshi. A trick keke. Omu odigu ombeba. You invoke them, they'll come. The real payment itself is within your spirit and your soul. And to be biara every conphobia beside one thing. Conphobia your magic or your enchantment and everything. Obedno musa smoky. It's too it will come to you. You can't stop. Obey your masem, obedno musa na obe smoky is automatic. Once you start entering into that, you cannot stop it. You cannot say, oh, media may chant and now those things you cannot do. Because it is fed by evil desire and iniquity, not by punching feeding, and then they come after life itself. And your destiny. And to what you must say, oh, my koji akwalabi say me busu ambambe and I will come man nipanomala am not to book and yes 1,000 cities and oh yeah akwalama and yet 1,000 no untia kanda
1,000 in yaketiano
that be that no
yaketiano wachire
eno ye wachire we come for no just can actually go to cool one turn and try hey we that's when the demon will finish working. Now, if it was okay, she said, now, tria me senior me pe.
I feel on never demanded your pay.
Your pay. And if there's nobody there to know what the demon is demanding, or bet me demand, they say every second child in the family, or the destiny, and everything. And to go say Bushan, every second child be a destiny. But say, me we Bushan. Every single person in the family, whoever you are, at the age of 50 years, you will die of stroke. Yes. Obe worry walk around now, Obe die of stroke, both male and female. Once he's a male, he will die of stroke. Yes. Exactly. They went to bring it. Omo conjure Obe boy. Oko friend the bar. Obana punching on the punching. No demon enjoys a punching. It will invoke them. That's what you use to create a portal to bring them. When you bring them, invocation is not payment. Odi insagufem, odi inkusuagufem, odi moja gufem, odi invoke spirit. After invocation, you will not automatically pay the spirit. The spirit will now work and ask you to pay them. And I am mistake now. Man for me bread in am comfort but now say ma kudai and the ayeni amabi until a year o bodua krapwa ka odino. Enya kakicho bit mecha.
O bodua na dua no ye adwuma.
Ka odino. Anya adwuma once you invoke the demon to follow you. Obi obodua be odane ho spirit na dibichi. You have called another spirit. I will join you. Now our friend or come, so he owns your soul, a portion of your soul. So everywhere I'll come, your new one, or be all bodriabia is possessed by some kind of force. It means you have to be delivered. Yes. I say you have to remove you from that.
And one day, 2 days.
Oh yeah, it depends. Once you meet anointed people, they can remove it. Once a lot of people are like, and I had 2 years now the oil and also yes. But then mainly there are demons you can rip out of people's body without them. Because then they tear pine at once. Now they're not feeling more. There's a way you can remove it without what you beat your nose. Maybe you can just drive it out of the person. Yes.
Now
it's an evil spirit and to na but on also another host. Parasites. A brand Noah flood this year now. A wipedia Nephilim bodies and Akkas bodies and everything. They have been hovering in the face of waters and everything. And to now obeho still. You free no. And Jesus said that if an unclean spirit leaves a body, he goes about looking for empty spaces. If he does not get one, he goes back to the old house and checks if it is empty. If he finds it empty, he goes back and finds 7 deadly demons who are more wicked than him and comes back to take over the place.
Mami busa 2 questions because you're 30. Yeah, but what baby our Ghana, obeti politicians na sacrifice. Omo sacrifice. Yeah, but what baby na obeti omo sacrifice moje fiegu. No kwe bi wom sa. Yeah, but what ba e do that time na bibi sa koso sacrifice koso.
Let me just speak one important truth to you. Obiya ni kwan ofaso edi eye ni hunhum adwuma. And I will assure you, Obi be sacrifice, Obi be bompaye, Obi be akwantre. But then I will tell you as a matter of fact that while somebody is praying, while somebody is giving offering, Obi is your sacrifice. So the Obi not all politicians believes normally in going to church. Not all of them also believe in juju. Can't Kennedy Obi be sacrifice. Ombe niyama biya. Very, very different. And definitely they do that. Some people do that. Some go to church and everything. But at the end of the day, because after sacrifice consequences and the whole party or something is facing or the country is facing, it will not be possible. Okay. The reason is because mainly, let me tell you something. It is not consequence of sacrifice that gets people battling. It's people fighting against each other. That's the issue with many people. There is a warfare everywhere. The Bible said the life of man is warfare. During primaries, they are warring. After primaries, they are warring. After a presidential victory, they are warring. There is always a fight to win something. So the fight will never end. And everybody and where they will fight. It's 2 different things.
The offer baby ni there. Ojani de manyame no. De hina a resource na ihun intem. Because I see nyame fa ne bo to intem.
Yeah, so the offer baby, it depends on maybe offer. And then the same great things will happen. Yeah, but I always say, Busum, any all those things. If you go to them, they don't take a punching, they don't take a gun. Omonya adi enfanche. Nyangu papa na be kon say so for the dinner out and no that G offering kakra 5,000 bra 2,000 bra. Oh, we na kwa she in the way we free or that crowd free. But once you allow anybody to break an egg in front of you, cut a goat in front of you, pour things on it and invoke spirits, whether spirits a year and a year will follow you. Yes. Obiako invoke spirit among the bush of one in our woman coming quada. Yes. Or yeah, then I'm making said what you have done work with bush of one in because they are work of friend, you people can control it. Because if you conjure something, you need to be able to know how to control the thing. And I don't want to say go fam they say young boys about no more say booklet in no more chanting, no more friend. The thing we are calling, you know how old it is. How long it has been there? Over the 30 years, over the 25 years, you are calling something worth 2,000 years old. Then how can I say me outsmart? You can't outsmart it. It's older than you. Or better, I can say, or creative pathway to enter into your soul. Or creating not enter your soul is free. If they are the shadow, no, you're free. What could you need free? What free no? Afraid it will start tormenting your family forever and ever.
Na afibia be kwa wi enso a eya yesi ahohom sorry na accident sisi akwan so na manfo ewu na moje ehwegu no eno so ya mpase afibia be ende a na ehia moja na. Is it true?
Yeah, there are rituals for that. Yeah. There's a lot of blood testing demons. Harvesting blood. Mostly during the end of the year, but they do it all the time. But then there's a specific season within October and then December. That is that seasons that you normally see those kind of things, and that's when the demons are really harvesting blood. And it's not mainly because the year is ending, but it is mainly because that's a specific season. And even if we change our calendar and we put the end of the year in somewhere March, within that same 3 months, October, November, December, still there will be death, constant death like that. Yes.
Wow. And there will be a lot of messages coming. I'm out for class. Because in some do. Wow. Me pacho answer the baby, you know. Sometimes obi to make us say, "Odi a train na behu." Odi a train na behu. So answer no yam fan on light. Ana obi kabisa chrewa. Ese oso utua.
Ese utua na mo. Me feel no be bad, me feel or shaky. Ade obisi on channel be or taking it very serious. One important thing is that when somebody threatens you with spiritual things, you have to take it very serious because it's kind of attack you can never see it coming. If you are not spiritual, say bad. Me I've seen so many strange things within the face of the. I told you say I grew up with the angel of death. Yes, and some of these things, when it's coming after you, you will never see it coming. Something appears and that's it doesn't leave again. And as I said, you need to secure yourself. And I always say, I'm not for bringing them home. No, I got to chain be, no, they're shining inside or the body mobile. Wakoto necklace be, no, they're shining inside. Wakoto way be, no, they're shining inside. None of those things can actually save you. To train now be afa woman yankopon now build it from inside out. Nothing externally can maintain your divine protection. It comes from inside out. When you have, imagine say me bahanom no me kita ade bia me de hyenkom ana me kita ade bia ma me power nanka me tia no me say me hia sa ade nanka me de achichire me ho. But then because the thing is within us, baby I bet na bia it doesn't, we don't care who you are. We are den we are busum uti India busum ne really so the treso onai bago hangis rokra. Not at all. If you shake our hands, while don't say there is weight, because we do not represent ourselves, we stand with God. And wherever we are going, because so what do you fear now be sitting in front of us? I say police. Now police men don't want to for our room. And to who you are Christian, once you have Christ in you, no cry is so shaky. No cry is on bone. Hey, when you and yes, so share a fina, we are legion 6,000 demons in one man. 6,000 is share yes, so in Quano. How many now could to pana? Hey, yes, now I'm a sober titi, and Nanka, and soon they started pleading. And how can somebody say, oh, what higher power say, or better way say, not Christian, no shaky. You don't know your God. The Bible said, they that know their God, they shall be strong and they shall do exploit. And once you know your God, all those forces will be shut down. Obiba, sorry. I see young concoshini, Busumano. When himself, sorry, him is at 2 so not Busum, not caught fire at home. By the time I ever do feel say Boshibusum, Nabusum Nashidana. Oh, she yako bomb Momoko Dum Jano. And because it was burning the walls, Yako bomb Mudum Jano. I feel they had drew Busum and way back Busum Bakusio. Missy Mammy Peja Busum. Other is a car Busum Nana, year and it is all. I feel they in Framabia Boba or Nanya from a Kitwa. I feel the woman then yes, his son, touch my pee. Nanya Mana Fanny so. While I make sure I miss no, I say, woman, young bomb two at the free. And I have bomb pie at the end free. So, a while, and Busum, Mr. Fanny, I got Kwana, there no, as a piano diba. So I just walk in there and I made time Busum, see. Now we did 2 china when I made time, and I'll show me this. You know, me father no normal. Simple. And I'm saying, with the it's nothing in it because once I ever drew on them. Baby, I can't hear one. It's someone to me. So that's how God works. And to your Christiania, don't fear those things, but then understand that they are there. As the Newton's third law of motion says, this thing says that in every action there is opposite and equal and opposite reaction in the third law of motion. So understand, say there is equal and opposite reaction in every action. Until once there is light, there is darkness. Once there are angels, there are demons. Once there is a good force operating, there are evil forces operating. And once you have that knowledge, you would never be ignorant of their devices. It is established.
There might be about Utu said, or didn't who can or baby na Bibia say. Or baby on so, or didn't who can baby ne life be bia ya basa. Meanwhile, who say oh nipa. And so when I never call them to say the only nipa call them no. Only baby now Bibia say.
Bibia say yes. And there are 2 things that factors in that condition. Obi what you are doing curse than so. And the demon B is there to collect. So all the own best and but obi what crowd channel sike na or channel be all coffee or car engine be blue. So that be ball come with you.
Oh watch
channel sike say no no. Osi obe buano da obe kase me buani pay unye skada. Even if you make mistake and force sell obe buani pa, your life will go down. Obe no problem because adibi dane so altars be and as demons be and curses be covenants be or does not want him to go forward. And to go interfere, they will attack you. That's the first thing. The other people no more there. Oh. When you the word they be sure myself, get closer to them, get into relationship with them, have sexual affair with them, and no. A ma be bring na mo nipa. Bear didn't have this sexual affair, they steal your soul. What that sorry na jawada na Akwaaba ni yeah. You are a servant and don't know control for her, and that's how they become powerful.
What's one and almost I know almost a pa.
On say Busum on party phone. Choose the best because all your marketing and they don't choose the attractive. Don't choose the best.
Yes, we near me. Who now? Because I say, or buy the Bama to me, you 10 traffic movements. You tell about my budget number. No, now, or some man with a boy, or master me a day, and now the boss one after.
Oh, it's simple. That's why I always say that be aware of the easily gained. Yes, despise the free lunch, as how this one said, the loss of power said. Be aware of the easy. I did be on no falano, a very more problem. When him say, or baby the Bema Biada, I'm our money HIV, it was all by design. You orchestrating. Yes. Nini now by plan. Say, or bad man HIV. And they are just walking around the face of them. And we easy. To get normal level. No, come. Oh, Kasa. Na, I just so come. Obe Kasa, Okra, no, yefe. Yes. Ofio for yawa, Osi Marco. Obe two, no, they'll just finish you.
Already in the new. Papa, enche baby, and then come on, you are opening our eyes for now. Who will be our so person or the boy cocoa or be a person who can anything. It could be anything. Now be a person who catch a tear for you now.
Yes. So one important thing is that I say when you're spiritually conscious. Because when you're spiritually conscious, we are saying one thing I always say is that it doesn't matter whether you believe or not. Reality is crawling, moving forward. That's the situation. Whether I say the sun will not stop and wait for you. Neither will night decide it's not going to come because you don't believe in it. It's going to keep going. And it will continue because that's how it is set. And to understand and set up your mind, say, as Nipan, you have to prepare yourself spiritually at all times. And yes, Obi, Eddie, in Kushabako, any appetition, very invoke demo, now I yariu. Just small coins. Obi, you be wako jinans, you be ano, abo you free because you are not fortified. So I always tell people, go under the banner of God because we are saying, Mina make one important thing say nipa do drop people bet meeting na TV say oh me I don't believe in religion I don't go to do drop people na ewo adibi omo sacrifice she bibi obi me can say oh Africa for the year they person who must but want me go Chinese new restaurant bi abako or Ghana you can't point to one abeko abusumuncio. There's not even one. Yeah. But I won't call restaurant be a Christian need your bones across put down. Yes. I've traveled around and one thing I've realized most restaurants you go into, there's either some funny pendant hanging at the entrance that you would go through it, or some funny incense and some few altar there that you have to go through to enter. And that's not Tingana. More technology. And Obi Tingana says, oh, yeah, the man don't do anything like that. Man, bomb pie and go so now you says and say no, you're making a terrible mistake because you don't know how many things are working in and working out. Or wait to a business, the business will collapse. It doesn't matter how rich you were, you can come crumbling down. You can do one business and your life will end forever. And these are some of the problems. So be spiritually conscious, and if you're sleeping, wake up and get up and do what has to be done to secure you, your children, and your family. Because some person now school fees everywhere down for you don't want that to happen. So you need to strengthen yourself spiritually.
This man cannot come to the studio and go without telling us anything. Or say ultimate Akwaaba unkawe. Or say the end of be a catcher and apple. Anita and the buyer. Or say can be a son of a course. It didn't work. You do have a sort of
maybe you may catch. Okay.
All right. Baba, and the and there will be a nipa, and I am could be brave. I think it's like a cry, you know. Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, answer number corner, meaning Sawati Oobake, and the Akwaaba so once and Kakra.
Okay. Oobake.
Yes.
Obviously, that's the first time I actually heard the word. But when I heard it, me and Crying, so when I heard it, I was like, oh, I understand. Because it makes sense in our languages. But Oobake and Akwaaba, right? Mino Nanka. What I suggest is that once we Gans decide say, okay, airports know where you're from. So we are putting it as Oobake so that it will promote the country language. I am like the local and the people, their language in here. Also, no, I think say it's an opportunity for the country. Say they should force the president and the ministers of state to also build an international airport in Kumasi. So we put Akwaaba on it. Then the Northerners were also forced to build international. That will actually spread the country in the very. I think it's a progressive approach where we can push something out of it. But I see here, come say, Oobake. There are so many important things we have to deal with.
And you're buying natural, empty and for natural.
Oh, okay.
Omo my year, uko arrive at one now. Unse, udu hona. Omo my design BBA. Until omo natural Akwaaba. Okay. Me
I thought it was like government. So almost say minister, regional minister they got Troy. But they are not cost design. So to me, if like you are in Ghana and then we have to promote the Ghana language, they should obviously promote it because it's their land. It's our land. And they me one because when they told me, my former Adrian come, I saw a TikTok video and I'm saying, yeah, check crowded. What was the problem?
Because say mom said a man for Beijing cry from his man.
Oh, not really.
Susumuno, Emre Bedra, and Kofi Beji,
Accra, Dabi. And one thing is that I think say Oobake and then Akwaaba, maybe they can share it hand in hand. It can explain, yes. and then they can mix it together. Or better still, in a positive way, everybody should push so that Ghana will be forced to develop. Because honestly, I don't know. When I heard that, that's the first thought that came in my mind, because I feel that Ghana is only Accra. Honestly, I've gone through the whole 16 regions, every corner, every rough road, every good road, and if all free Accra and call corners be okay, say Ghana to say Accra, it's a different story. Accra pe na ohun bia ohun Ghana. You go to a place now about 3 hours car crown for private car. You car everybody will just be looking. Gonna be a shock that where is this coming from? Will be that exactly. They have to actually extend the development and not just focus on the center of Accra.
But here, where adia mea matiti ame bebusa. I hear a lot of men of God say yema ye call your borders no. These days I'm hearing that a lot. Yema security more money call borders no na. Normal people boba or money more ya. I don't know. Have you seen anything of that sort?
Not at all. Yes. Not at all. But then mainly as a country, you have to secure your borders. But not in Ghana mainly with what I saw. Me say another coup was taking place. But after the coup, it generated something like a terrorist regime that started pushing towards certain African borders, closer to us, but not within our territory. And whilst, you see, we're down for a boni moko change.
Now the issue Asha with him and
exactly. But now from Funche, which means once they are burying one hatchback, the other one is also watching. So almost say now you to use secure.
The Africa na war.
Yeah, Africa. Normally like a coup. And to coup this year, it will generate a divided country where terrorism will thrive. Yes.
The never happen.
Yes. If we change, I'll tell you.
Now, so by let's be able to be a man this year. We know. Now, not for the end. Tamalidi.
It's we need the call. They are clearing the pathway.
The horse so Elizabeth.
We need the call. So I mean, obviously, it's their time. So they would continue. But then, main important thing. Let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. I know, so that you get this thing. One said, there is a situation going on with the MPP political party. This thing, once I tell you, it will be very, very strange. Yes. I saw, amazingly, that Baumia was running for flag bearership, and Kennedy Japan was his vice running mate.
Wow.
Very strange.
You've seen that?
Yes. And there's already discussion going on in the realms. But you know, because I'm ahead of time, I'll go and take from the future and come and say it in the present. So that now that the plans have started going on, once I've said it, to be a young person say, say a plan. We have said it out in public already. So how do we handle it? Yeah, because they'll come with double numbers to get a strong figure.
But
the election is 44%. For 2028 election.
No matter who they bring.
Yes, it's 44. And it is there. Unless you temper with time. But that one is a long gap no soludo. So to catch up with it, you will not finish it by the closing.
So we shouldn't be surprised to see say Baumiane Kennedy Akambo Moa or Moba.
Yes, it's don't be surprised. They'll start talking about it. They'll start talking about it later on.
To what your money can grow.
By the grace of God.
Still now,
44, but it didn't change the time. It couldn't change the time. So once the time is maintained, it's the same number at the end of the day. So it's like, okay, there was like double numbers because it will shock you. Say, when in the primaries, they will pull very strong numbers during the primaries, and after pulling that kind of numbers, it will encourage them to say, you know what? Imagine if our primaries was this much numbers. If we join together, can you imagine what we can do in 2028? And all of a sudden, as a work or organizing party, out of drinks, no be amber, and then he ended at 44 again.